Consumer movement and protection. In this module, you will learn about the consumer and the trader, reasons for consumer exploitation, Consumer Protection Act, major objectives of the Consumer Protection Act, Consumer Protection Councils, Consumer Courts, District Forum, procedure of filing complaints. Service organizations have used the term user for any person who uses goods and services. The government has used the term consumer in the Consumer Protection Act. A trader is a person who sells goods and services to the consumer in exchange of money. It is the duty of the merchants and the traders to provide quality goods to the consumers in exchange for money. This is the right of every consumer. The objective of the consumer movement is that every consumer should attempt to obtain quality goods and services in the market. Initially, the producers used to supply the goods to the consumers directly without the menace of the middlemen. However, when the agricultural occupations developed, it led to changes in the marketing methods. Earlier, the prices of the goods were fixed by the producers and the consumers. However, when the middlemen entered the market, the prices were fixed by the middlemen. The producers therefore could not understand the hardships of the consumers. Tele-shopping is one example of how the development of information technology allows the consumers to buy goods directly from home and even pay for it. The consumers can place the orders online and even pay for it. Similarly, orders can be placed for the advertisements telecast over the television channels through an SMS or by contacting the advertiser over the landline. The consumer movement was started by a few people who suffered continuous exploitation by the traders. Such movements pressurized the government to formulate new parliamentary acts to safeguard the interests of the consumers. In the last 5 decades, 30 acts have been implemented. For example, Essential Commodities Act, Weights and Measures Act, Act Against Adulteration of Food Articles, Government of India Act, 1986, etc. On March 15, 1962, US President John F. Kennedy adopted a legislation comprising 4 rights such as citizen safety, information, appeal, and remedy. Hence, every year March 15th is celebrated as the World Consumers' Day. The major objectives of the Consumer Protection Act include giving importance to safety and quality, avoiding the production and sale of dangerous goods, preventing trade malpractices in the market, supervising quality, weights, measures, and price, compensating the consumer in case of any problems arising out of trade, creating awareness amongst the consumers through consumer education. Overall, the objective of the Act is to ensure quality goods and services at reasonable prices through healthy competition. In accordance to the Consumer Protection Act, a National Consumer Protection Council at the national level and a State Consumer Protection Council at the state level have been constituted. These councils advise and instruct the governments on the measures that need to be taken in order to create consumer awareness. District Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum, State Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum, and National Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum have been established in order to attend to the consumer grievances and find appropriate redressal measures. A consumer can appeal to the higher courts in case of dissatisfaction with the judgment of the lower courts. The cases exceeding a commission limit of rupees 5 lakhs shall be filled with the State Commission, and the cases exceeding a commission limit of rupees 20 lakhs shall be filed with the National Commission. The compensation for the loss suffered by the consumer is more important than the worth of the goods or services acquired by him. A consumer can file a compensation of rupees 10 lakhs for an infected injection tube of worth rupees 10 if it has affected him or her adversely. A district forum is the lowest consumer court, which handles 75% of the cases under the district jurisdiction. The bench consists of a president who is a qualified person eligible to become a district judge, along with 2 other members. A woman also functions in the bench. The bench summons the consumers to appear in the court if the appeal is found to be genuine. The judge verifies the documents submitted by the trader and the consumer before giving a judgment. The bench has the power to order for a compensation in cash if the consumer has suffered emotionally on account of a loss or injustice. If the trader or the consumer fails to comply with the court orders, it amounts to contempt of the court. The methods to file an appeal in the consumer court are: complaints can either be handwritten or typewritten on a sheet of white paper furnishing the name, address, and the telephone number clearly. The name of the trader against whom the complaint has been filed has to be mentioned exactly. The defect of the goods or services which has caused the trouble or the amount of loss that has been incurred has to be mentioned. Records of any letter correspondence that has taken place between the trader and the consumer has to be provided. The compensation desired for the loss has to be mentioned. Necessary bills or receipts, if any, have to be enclosed with the application. No fees or stamp duties are charged while filing the complaint. The services of a lawyer need to be availed, and the consumer himself can argue the case. Hence, the purpose of the consumer movement is to awaken the consumer, to protest against injustice and help India to progress through fair and legal business practices. Let us now recap all the important points that we have covered in this module on consumer movement and protection.